Hello, avocado fans. This is Gregory, and I wanted to do a damage report showing what can happen and what varieties you can grow in high heat here in Brentwood, where I live, which is in Northern California, and top of the Central Valley near the delta of the Bay Area. We get high heat. I don't get much cold or frost, but I do have to deal with the high heat for my avocados, and I wanted to show you in hopes that it might help you choose, select, and manage your avocados if you live someplace where you get extreme temperatures. Let's take a look at what we got here. We had two of the hottest days on record, and at one point it was 109, 107, 105, and then high 90s. And this is what happened here in July of 2023. I have a Zutano, and you can see it is doing well. Some of the new young growth burned away. That's to be expected. But it's doing well. The trunk is fine. This will survive and take high temperatures. We got another one over here, which surprised me because I've heard some people not having the best results with it. You can see I'm using these fig trees here to help protect it from, to help give it some shade protection. Look at those figs. That just came as a result of all the high heat. Because some plants and varieties love the high heat. And this one did really well, to my surprise. And there are some dry leaves you can see here, but it performed really well, which I'm really happy about because I had read that some people didn't have great luck with this one, and that is the Fuerte, another winner. This Fuerte is doing really well. Had no trouble with the heat, just a couple of dry leaves. Again, as I've said elsewhere, when you're going to have high 90s, be sure to water the day before and the day after. Now this tree is young, but I know it'll be fine. And it's the first time it's ever had to deal with the heat. You can see the branches in the trunk are still very green. This is the Puebla, and you can see the leaves dried. But this pumpkin is taking off, and this fig, and they're going to help shade protect it, and it will get acclimated. Where I got it from, my friend lives in a cold area in the Bay Area, and I can't imagine it really ever dealt with anything above 90, which is interesting because I was reading Popono's journals, and at the time, 100 years ago, when they were bringing varieties from Guatemala and finding them in Guatemala, it never got above 90. And now we live in a different time, unfortunately, where every summer it's getting hotter. So let's see what'll work for us, for those who do live in the heat. For example, back here, I tried growing Charwill twice, and they both died. They just could not deal with my heat where I live. Then I read on the Australian forums that yes, the Aussies also said that Charwill is very heat sensitive. Unlike this guy, my Mexicola, look at that, even the new growth stayed. Where on my Zutano, it kind of melted away. Not here. There is a branch here that got some burn, but I got it from a nursery like that, with that branch cut off, so I can't really blame the tree. And that's the other thing. You got to keep in mind that, of course, not every tree is going to do the same. I had another Mexicola in the back fence where I get the most heat, and that one didn't make it. That's why this one's here, because here it gets some shade protection, at least more than the back. And it looks like I chose the perfect spot. Look at that. All new young growth as a direct result of the heat. So in truth, the avocados, they actually like the heat too. When it gets warm, as it does, they grow. Look at these. See that? That's my Pinkerton. And behind that, I'll show you, is my lamb. And when it gets warm, they just shoot into the sky like they are. So heat's not all bad. It's just managing it. Look at this. This in the pot is my Nabal, which I'd cut back and I was grafting onto, but I decided just to make it in a ball. Hopefully I'll find room for it one day. Look at that. No burns. Just perfectly happy. So if you live someplace where you get a lot of heat, maybe try in a ball. It definitely can handle the heat, as can Queen and Surprise, in my experience, of the Guatemalan types. Another one is this one here. This is the La Marinda growing. It's very small, but it'll get there. It's getting its roots in the ground and sinking into the clay. No tip burn, no sun damage. And that got a lot of heat. My reed, which I've generally seen doing really well in the hot sun, is also doing well, but you can see the new growth. Got some tip burn. Of course, it could have been worse, so I'm very happy. Pinkerton, my Guatemalans I keep over here, they get some sun protection, get a break from the afternoon sun for about an hour or two, or 3, depending on the time of year. And look, it's doing really well. This is a very underrated tree. Pinkerton is a very good tree for Northern California, or probably anywhere actually. And here is my lamb. Also no burns. Of course, again, these get some shade protection, some relief. Here's my Julia, which seems to be somewhat heat sensitive, I would say. You can see that leaf and dried up. I've seen this take some sun damage in the back, so I put it back in the pot and I hope to find a home for it eventually. Edrenol, look at this. This is doing very nicely in all that sun. And I'm really happy and excited about that because I've tried 2 Char Wills, which I understand taste is the same as or similar to Edrenol. Those didn't make it. The Edrenol is holding. Over here, my Carmen. Now what's interesting about this one is I just grafted this a few months ago, and look, it's just taken off. It's almost 3 feet tall onto Zutano rootstock, and one leaf dried up, but this one's gonna be fine. Now, I had a Carmen once near where the Mexicola is now. When the sun came, it died. It just could not handle it. So again, the Guatemalans, a little shade protection can be a good thing. And speaking of Guatemalans, this one's developed by UC Riverside and seems to live up to all the hype. And that is my one gem in the front. Now it had the grasshopper chew away some leaves, but other than that, it's gonna be fine. Let me show you that over here. It also had some dry leaves, but I'm mentioning this one because it's interesting to see something like a tree, an avocado tree, live up to the hype. This is a gem avocado, and the reason it's famous is because it can be grown inland in Central Valley and handle the high heat and temperatures. Basically driving home the point that certain avocados will do well with extreme temperatures and certain ones will not. So I'm recommending the gem because it's one you can grow in extreme temperatures and still get wonderful Hass fruit. All right, thanks for watching. If you have any advice or suggestions for which varieties have worked for you, please leave it in the comments below, and have a good day.